Perfect. Hey guys, I'm here to talk to you today about something that a lot of people have really heard of and they care a lot about, and that's how to create a great culture in your company. You know, people often hear that you'll be happier when you come to work, you'll have more engaged employees, and that, maybe you can even start to see higher ROI and profits come out of your business. But there's a couple of myths that come out of this whole story around culture, and really that's that it's this fuzzy thing that you can't really sort of plan for and create properly, or if you do, it's really hard to measure how you're going to get the outcome. There's just a lot of challenges in rolling it out properly. But I had a huge company once with 225 employees in it, and I can tell you that we had absolutely a lousy culture. And what happened is that every day that I came into work, I didn't even want to see anybody there anymore. I used to come into my office, I just hide away in my little corner, and I was absolutely miserable. And you know what? The company started to suffer as a result of it because I wasn't the only one that was miserable. When I exited out of that business and sold it and moved into a new sole proprietorship, well, finally I could start out with no partners and say, I'm going to do it all over from scratch. I really wanted to learn from those mistakes and create a great culture. Now, the problem was I've always been more of an intuitive person than a rational person. So I thought that I could read a couple of books like Dan Pink's book on Drive, and there's some great suggestions in the back of that, reading blogs about what Netflix and HubSpot and other companies like that were doing. I spent like 6 digits decorating an absolutely gorgeous office with great art and stuff like that. And I said, this is gonna help us to create some great culture. And it sort of worked at first. We had a little bit of success. Certainly everyone was a lot happier coming into the office, but I can't say that we were really getting measurable lift and better performance out of it. And then I came across this framework, which is what I want to share with you today, that completely changed the game for us and took it to a whole new level. Basically what this idea is that if you want to have great culture, really, it can't just be you deciding what it sounds like. It's got to be co-curated. I mean, this is a really simple idea, but it's actually super powerful. So we have these charts that we printed all around our office. We had our 4 core values that we really celebrated. And how did we get those core values? We went and asked all the employees to contribute in polls. Then once we printed them up, we said, well, what do these values actually mean? Let's get specific. So tell me exactly what it means to be a good person. Tell me exactly what it means to be efficient or to be a tester, right? Or to be agile, which were our 4 core values. So we posted these posters all throughout the office, in the lounge and in private places, because some people were shy, and we put markers next to each one, and they could go and they could write, they could scratch things out off the list, they could add new things. It became really co-curated. And then we would get together once a week and we would have these really great healthy debates. Sometimes we do them publicly in a lunch and learn format on a Friday afternoon with beers. Sometimes we do it with just leadership, or we'd sit around in a closed office and we'd really debate and say, do we like this, do we not like it? And there was a lot of really good healthy things that came out of that debate. And that's another key point that I'd like to say is you can't rush this, right? You've got to give it the time that it takes to pull in all this content, let people contribute, and really kind of hash it out. The end result of it was a book that we were able to publish that everyone could get behind. Everyone's able to recite by heart exactly what our values are and what our culture is and what we stand for. We hear people in the hallway saying things like, well, we don't do things like that here, or we do things like this here. That we is really important. You can sense the ownership that people are having. And by no coincidence, we're now setting new records in top line revenue and gross margin and net profit. Things have really kind of turned around. We did an employee NPS score. It came in at the highest reading ever. I don't think that you can do it or should do it so that you can get more profits, because good culture is not a destination. It's a journey. It's not something you check off of a checklist. It's always growing, it's always evolving. But hey, what business owner doesn't want to have more profits and revenue in their business? And that's a really nice takeaway to get. So I want to really challenge every single one of you. I'm going to publish underneath of this specific examples of pictures of the actual posters that we have inside of our office that we used, so you can get a bit of an idea how this works. And because this is so easy, but also because we've seen such massive changes in our company by rolling this out, I want to challenge every single one of you watching this video to try this out in your own company. And if you're not the owner of the company, take it to the leaders in your company, because you know what? The #1 challenge that people have in rolling this out is they're like, who's going to start this process? Who's going to get behind it? I tell you, every single company with great culture I've talked to, they all agree it starts with leadership. Leadership has to get behind it. Leadership has to be the one to start with the baseline of what they celebrate, but then it's got to be co-curated with everyone there. So I challenge you to try this out, and if you have any questions or comments, make sure you let me know. I'm here to help. I think you're going to get great results out of this, and I can't wait to hear some of your success stories.